It's so good to see all of you here on this beautiful morning. This is the day that God has made, and we will enjoy it and celebrate it along with our larger celebration here today. Uh, this is a very special morning, a very special event. And I want to thank a few of my colleagues for being here with us. We have Commissioner Desmond Duncan Walker, Commissioner Harvey Ward with us. We also have many members of our city staff, including our Director of Equity and Inclusion, Tanisha Marshall, our clerk, Michelle Gainey, our city manager, Lee Feldman, and a bunch of other just great city folk who keep this train moving every day and try to do the best we can on behalf of our neighbors. This kicks off a month-long series of events that's really the brainchild of Tanisha Marshall and Yvette Carter. They really wanted to elevate our observance and celebration of Juneteenth from a one-day sort of episodic event to a month-long series of celebrations and remembrances, not just by the city, but other community groups and organizations. And the real vision is to grow this into a true celebration that people look forward to all year, that people travel to Gainesville to learn about their history, to celebrate our present, and to help build our future. And so that's the vision. That's only going to be accomplished with all of your help and bringing more and more people in. But this month is going to be a great start. And so we really encourage you to go to the city's website, see what other events are happening. I'll just plug one since it's an event I'm hosting. I'm doing a book club discussion on the book A Color of Law. It's a very well-respected look at the history of housing discrimination. And we've got some great panelists. And, that's very important right now as the city looks to undo our century and a half of discriminatory housing policy and build a better future in that area. But we've got so many great things going on, from the arts to historical talks, and so many opportunities for the young people on up to our elders. Miss Marshall will tell you more about the flag raising. But I want to bring up a dear friend of mine, a dear friend of the city's, a true pioneer and trailblazer in so many ways, and somebody, if there is a person who knows more about local Black history, I have not met that person. And so we're very honored and grateful to have with us today Miss Vivian Filer. Please welcome her on behalf of the city.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you, members of our commissioners, and all of you that are staff, and all of you that are people that I have worked with at some point in my life, including this gentleman back here on the camera. But I really am just pleased. I told them earlier that I'm tickled black to be here to do this, because I think Black is a great place for me to be. It's who I am. That's how I was born. I relish it. I glorify it. But what I want it to be is a fabric of America. I don't want to be separate and on the side. I want to be America because that's who I am. That's how we arrived here. And on that note, when I was given the opportunity by somebody that I love dearly to be a part of this group to plan this month-long celebration, we had a conversation, and the conversation was, yes, I will do that, but let us talk about Florida's Emancipation Day. When I went to school, we celebrated Florida's Emancipation Day. When the Emancipation was read, January 1, 1863, there were 7 states that didn't hear it. Florida was one of the 5 Confederate states that did not know that they were free. Texas was one, but on the 20th of May in Tallahassee, Florida, we heard it read in Florida. And therefore, May 20th is Florida's Emancipation Day. From now on, that's my gospel. I'm going to preach it. And I am so glad that my congregation is here to hear it. I'm so glad that they have included me in this celebrations and given me the opportunity to bring forth a program that will teach you more. I have state historians and all of those. And if you go to the calendar that this wonderful group has established, you're going to find out how to do that. So celebrate with us. And I'm excited for the month-long celebration. But I am the pusher of May 20th. I think Juneteenth should be celebrated. I think every single one of those days when people were free should be celebrated. But the border states were not free. Delaware and Kentucky were not free until December, when the president wrote the last act that freed everyone. So let's think about this thing as a fabric of the United States of America, the fabric that makes us all Americans. And it's not what black people need to know, it's what America needs to know, acknowledge, embrace, talk about, teach about. And if you ever run into a question that you think is going to make you uneasy and you can't ask it, call me. We can have a conversation. I'm so pleased, so very pleased with my city, who is doing something that I don't think any other city is doing. We are having a month-long celebration. I have said that to all of my friends over Florida that I'm in contact with. We are on the cusp, and I sure appreciate that. I appreciate the opportunity, and I'll stop talking. But thank you so very much.
I really thought a lot about this speech today that I was going to make. And, this has actually become a personal journey for me. So today is a day of remembrance, but also celebration that really hits home for me and my family. Oftentimes as African Americans, we struggle to find links to our ancestors due to slavery, and there not being records kept of us. For some of us, not finding those links actually leaves a void. My mother's family was from the Bamileke tribe in Cameroon. And a lot of my history was lost in between leaving Africa and arriving here in the United States. Recently, I found out that many of my ancestors actually landed here in Florida, in the Live Oak area. So what started out for me as planning an educational event, one that was fun and educational for our community, has actually really turned out to be more of a personal mission. And that mission for me is to continue to find out more about my ancestors, but also help others find out more about their ancestors as well. So Florida's Emancipation Day has truly turned out to be one that's super meaningful to me. And I thank you, Ms. Vivian, for giving me the knowledge to understand that this is much bigger than just Juneteenth, and that my family was very deeply impacted by Florida's Emancipation Day. So thank you for that. So I want to talk a little bit about the flag. So on the Juneteenth flag, you'll see a star that's bursting. And I want to give a little bit of context to what that means on the flag. The star itself actually represented the state of Texas. However, they also recognized that this star needed to mean African Americans being freed around all 50 states. And the star bursting was meaning that there was a new day for African Americans. The arc is the curve that extends across the width of the flag, represents a new horizon, the opportunities and promise that lay ahead for Black Americans. And the colors, the red, white, and blue, represents the American flag, but also a reminder to everyone that slaves and their descendants they're Americans too. I definitely want to take this opportunity to thank all of our our elected officials who have been supportive of this event, our amazing city staff who we could not have done this event without our staff. But definitely, I want to thank our community members who have poured so much into this event and who have been so supportive of this event. We could not have done this without you. Thank you.